On the top of the group, unbeaten, but was there always a sense that this was going to be the defining week of the qualification?
Listen, I suppose the way the results have gone, it's probably panned out that way. Obviously, we couldn't have seen it the way it's happened at the start of the group, but we all know it's a big week. Couple of big games coming up, and listen, we'll hopefully, concentrate on Georgia first, and then we'll move on to Switzerland. But it's going to be a tough weekend, but one we're really excited for.
Shane Duffy and David McGoldrick have been such big players for you, haven't they? The fact that you're sort of waiting on them, does that leave you a bit in limbo as you wait to find out whether they're going to board the plane on Thursday?
No, not really. Listen, they're not my position, so I don't really care, to be honest. But no, listen, they've been fantastic for us this campaign, and over the course of the time they've both been involved in the squad. Duffy especially, he's been a big part of the squad now for quite a few years. But listen, I think that's something for the medical staff and the manager to look after. We just have to look after what we're doing as players and get ourselves ready.
Has been a really good weekend though for other players that were fit in the Premier League, particularly young Aaron Connolly bursting onto the stage with 2 goals for Brighton. How did you see that, and what was your reaction to it?
Yeah, fantastic for him. It's always great for the Irish setup when there's lads doing well. I played against him a couple of weeks before that in the cup against Brighton, and he played 60 minutes in that game, and he gave our 2 centre halves a tough night. So when he was banging in a few goals at the weekend, that was no surprise to me. He's got that energy and that work ethic to give centre halves a tough day at the office, and he did that on Saturday against Spurs. So I was delighted to see it.
I know it's not your decision, obviously, but you'd have no worries about playing alongside him. The jump from under 21 is not too big, you feel?
No, definitely not. Everyone who's in the squad, the gaffer obviously feels like they can make an impact and give it push everyone for positions or whatever. So listen, if you're in the squad, that automatically says that you're good enough to play. So no worries for Aaron or anyone in the squad.
And you had a fantastic weekend as well, scoring for Villa, back in the team again. How has your start to the season been, and how pleased are you to win back your place?
Started off okay, I suppose. Started the season, and then frustrating over kind of the 4 or 5 games after that, and we had a couple of cup games. Played well in them, and maybe that gave the manager a bit of a headache. And delighted to be back in the last couple of games, and it's gone well for myself and the team. So. Very happy with that.
Alan, you obviously got your chance in the last game, the friendly against Bulgaria. Is that sort of giving you a feeling that you want a bit more of it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a good taster for me, and obviously good to get off the mark for my country as well. But I know it's going to be difficult for me to break into that midfield. The boys in front of me have done fantastic so far. So I think that they deserve their place in there. But that's not to say I'll be pushing them in training, and any chance I get, I'll be looking to impress.
Yeah, how difficult is that when you turn up sort of sensing that you're not likely to be in the starting 11?
It's not. I think I've got every chance, but as I said, the boys will obviously be fancying themselves to start because they've done so well so far. So. I don't think it's any problem to me. I'll still be working as hard as ever in training, and I'll be going into the game prepared to play. So that's the way I look at every game, and I'm sure everyone in the squad will do the same.
And 2 massive away games, Georgia and Switzerland. Is there any sort of discussion of what represents 2 good results?
I think so far we've given ourselves a really good opportunity, and as you mentioned before, this week is obviously a massive week for us. I think we need to get a good result against Georgia, and then go into the Switzerland game with hopefully a bit of momentum and a bit of confidence in the squad as well.
Hi Alan, can I just ask you about your club form? I know you seem to be playing as a fullback last week anyway. How have you found that?
I don't mind changing roles within the team. At the moment I'm happy to play wherever, but it's been a tough season so far. I don't think that's down to how badly I've done. I think the lads in front of me at club level, the same as here, have done fantastic so far, and that shows with our position in the league. So it is difficult, you know. I can't really go into the gaffer and complain that I need to start because the boys are doing a job who are in there. So I think I've just got to be patient and keep working hard, and any chance I get, I look to take. So that's what I'll be looking to do.
Would you back yourself to be versatile positionally normally? Like in a situation like this, when you've got DJ ahead of you playing in that 10 role, surely that if you can drop slightly deeper or even play on the right, it might stand to you.
Yeah, I think it's good to be able to play different positions. It always gives you a chance of starting any game. But you know, I think it's different at club level. I think as long as the boys are doing well, you're happy for them and you know your chance is going to come along. Whereas at international, because it's so broken up, it's difficult to really break into the team because the gaffer's not seeing you week in, week out. So it is difficult, but I've just got to go back now and really try and nail down a position, because I think you need to be playing at club level to give yourself a chance of playing at international when it comes along.
So does that add to your frustration then, that you know that while you're being kept out of your team at your club, it might be affecting your international chances as well?
Yeah, of course. I think I don't really have a leg to stand on, you know, coming here, trying to say that I need to be playing, because that's not the case. You know, I think last time when I went back, I tried to really break into the team, and I think I played a lot more games since then. So you know, it's a slow process at the moment for me because of the lads in front of me, as I said, are doing so well. But I know my chance will come, and I'll be ready to take it when it comes along.
Conor, I saw the tweet that you sent at the weekend that you've now scored in League 2, League 1, the Championship, the Premier League, and obviously for Ireland. That you must take a lot of pride out of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's one that I was very pleased with at the weekend, you know, to say I've done all of that. You know, I've worked so much over the years to try and achieve something like that. It's pleasing for myself, but listen, one that I won't be, you know, resting on, time to push on now for myself and hungry for more, really.
Yeah, what is more? Like, what are the next kind of boxes you want to check?
Yeah, more goals, you know, international level, Premier League level, staying in the team consistently for Villa, you know, remaining in the Premier League hopefully for a couple of years, or especially this year, you know, with club. You know, I've worked, like I said, so hard to get to the level I'm at now, so it's about sustaining it and improving every single day, and you know, that is more for me really. It's staying at this level and making an impact at this level. And
that you were happy enough to drop down to come back up. What does that say about you as a player, or perhaps more pertinently as a person?
Yeah, that I'm hugely determined, focused. You know, when I dropped down to League 2, I always had that self-confidence and self-belief that I will come back. Never gave up. In my days off, working so hard, dedicated myself, sacrificed everything to make it happen. And yes, it was great at the weekend. And it kind of shows that hard work does pay off with them kind of moments. But yeah, one that I won't be resting on. Like I said, I'm never satisfied with my game. I'm always my worst critic. Working on my game again this week to try and improve, and yeah, it'd be something maybe later on in my career or when I'm finished that I look back on with great pride. But it's not time to look back at it now. It's time to, you know, kick on again.
Yeah. Is there anything that you've identified in your few games in this qualifying campaign that you can improve on and want to improve on?
I probably want to score a couple of more goals. If I'm being honest, I've had 14 caps now. I've scored one. It was great to get my first goal, of course, an important goal as well. But I've always managed to score goals over the years, so a couple of more goals. You know, maybe hopefully in the next 5 or 6 games or whatever it is. Hopefully I might nick 1 or 2.
Yeah. Just before we look ahead to the Georgia game, can I ask you, what was your reaction when you heard that Denmark had drawn that game in Tbilisi? Because I think the rest of us were a bit surprised.
Yeah, it just probably shows how tough the game is out there, and how much Georgia have improved over the years. You know, the last time we went there, I was on the bench when Duffy scored that goal, and that was an extremely tough night out there. Prior to when I was in the squad, you know, I took 2 great goals from Eddie McGeady to get a result. So it's never been easy for us out there. And like I said, Denmark are a very good side. So if Georgia kind of held them at a 0-0, it shows how tough it's going to be. And
my final question is there anything you can draw then, or the squad can draw from those previous experiences in Tbilisi for this game on Saturday?
Probably knowing how hard it's going to be and how tight the games have been. you know, we know it's going to be tough out there, and the squad knows that. So just more hard work and being prepared as best as possible going into the game and giving ourselves the best chance to get a good result, you know, come Saturday.
Conor, you've been a fixture in the Ireland team in this campaign. Have you allowed yourself to accept that yet, that you're a regular? No,
definitely not. You know, people like Browne alongside me are always pushing people like myself. If you come complacent, I think that's when you're going to get yourself into trouble and people pass you out. So, you know, I'll be working this week like it's like I'm fighting for my place, like it's going to be one of my first caps, and hopefully get selected and be ready for the weekend.
That said, what does it mean to you to be effectively one of the first names on the team sheet?
Oh, listen, that's for you to decide. That's definitely not my mindset, that's for sure. I don't see myself as a first name in the team sheet. I'm always, you know, like I said, if you become complacent like that, that's when someone, you know, pushes you out of the way. So no, I'll be looking at, you know, like I said, people like Browne who did fantastic in the last game against Bulgaria, and I know he's going to be pushing me, so I need to be on top of my game to make sure I'm in that team sheet come Saturday.
You've talked about some of the tough games against Georgia over the years. Georgia have run you close, but they would have been disappointed with their performance in Dublin. Do you expect a backlash when you go over there?
No, listen, I think, like I said, over the years when we've gone out there and the Dublin game, they've always been tight games. You know, they've improved over the years. They may feel like they owe us one, you know, a good result, so they'll be geared up and fired up for it. But, you know, we will be as well, because we know it's an important game. We'll be ready for it, and like I said, hopefully when comes Saturday evening, we'll have a good result.
Alan, can I just ask, as you said, Preston are flying, which is great. You'd like more football, obviously. But can you take heart from the experiences of people like Conor and the Sheffield United lads who've done well in the Championship and got up, and it's really furthered their international careers?
Yeah, of course. You know, it was obviously pleasing for me to see the boys do so well, and then obviously Callum to get his move to the Prem, I think was really deserved, because he had a fantastic season. So yeah, for me, obviously the goal is to get to the top. I think that's a given. That's for any player playing football. They want to be at the top and stay at the top. But it's a massive task, and where we're at the moment is we're in a really good position. But it's a long season ahead, and we know how difficult the Championship can be. So it will be a big task for us. But you know, we'll keep striving right till the end, and hopefully we can get to where we want to be. And if we can do that, hopefully we can stay there.
Just Alan, the game against Bulgaria afterwards, Mick spoke very highly of you after that game, and we've heard a lot about how Mick is very good to players on a personal level and make them feel good about themselves. Did he speak to you after the game or since about that performance?
Yeah, he just gave me a quick message after the camp and said, you know, break into Preston squad and do as well as you can, and that's what I've looked to do. Obviously I haven't done as well as I would have hoped, but coming away here now is a big week for myself and the lads, and as I said before, I'll be pushing them every step of the way. But at the same time, if I'm not involved, I want the boys to do as well as they possibly can, and hopefully we can get the results that we need.
Conor there spoke about, you know, dropping down to League Two and how he still had that self-belief to get back to the level he wanted to get back to. Like, we've all seen you doing so well for Preston over the last number of years, Alan. So do you find you have to dig deep there as well and find that self-belief within yourself? Yeah,
of course. You know, I see Conor every time we come away here, and he's I think everybody knows how determined he is. So that's no surprise to me, and you know, that's kind of the people that I look to, and that's what I want to replicate. And I think that's the only way to get to the top. You know, you have to keep believing in yourself and keep pushing for more. And I think every player in this squad now is capable of doing that. And I know first team football is hard to come by for a lot of us at the moment, but you know, we never stop believing in ourselves and keep fighting till the end. And you know, you just have to have that never say die attitude, and it'll come good eventually.
Conor, maybe the start of the Premier League season didn't go as you would have wanted. You had to start a fair few games on the bench. Did you speak to your manager, Dean Smith, at all, or was it a case of just having to bide your time and wait for the chance?
Yeah, listen, we had a couple of conversations and whatnot, but I didn't give him too much of a problem, attitude-wise or anything like that. It was just a case of, making the most of the opportunities that came my way. We had a couple of cup games that I knew that was an opportunity to stake a claim. I did well in both of them, and gave him a headache, that kind of way, So, yeah, it was frustrating, definitely. But always thought, I will get the opportunity. I will get it. Keep working hard every day. And lucky enough for me, one did come along. And like I said, over the last couple of weeks, it's gone quite well. So I'm happy with that.
Would he be the type of manager to tell you what you need to do?
Yeah, listen, his detail's fantastic. He talks to everyone and shows clips and collectively and in units and individually. So he's always he's one of them coaches that wants to improve in players all the time. So that's something that I love and buy into, of course. So he's great that way.
Why were Georgia so hard to break down the last game? What makes it tough to play against them?
Yeah, they're just a good footballing side. They play football in the right way. They pass the ball about. They got some good technical players. They make it and they make it tough for you. They're a good side. Like I said, they're improving every single year. At home as well, they're a very good side. So we always knew that when the draw came along that there was going to be two tough games there, home and away. Listen, we overcame the first one, luckily enough, at home in the Aviva. So hopefully we'll get another one on Saturday.
Do you feel a draw wouldn't be a good enough result?
No, I'm not sure about that. Every point is vital, that's for sure, in this group. So, listen, if it was to be a draw, we'll take a draw and move on. But every point is vital. So, listen, but we'll be going there to try and win the game, that's for sure. But if it was to be a draw, like I said, every point is vital.
I know you spoke about your eagerness to get more international goals, but do you have to, I suppose, temper that with the fact that you need to be, aware of your own midfield responsibilities in, defensively in that kind of perspective?
Oh yeah, of course. You have to be good at both sides of the game. I'll be trying to nick a goal or get into the box at the right times. I won't be leaving the people behind me, unstuck or whatever. But it's something that I'll look to do moving forward, score a couple of more goals. But like you said, doing it at the right time and trying to nick goals at the right time.
And just to ask you finally, you mentioned about playing against Aaron Connolly in that EFL Cup match against Brighton. You would have seen him on the pitch. What do you think, what are his qualities? What do you think makes him the kind of player that we saw on Saturday doing so well in his full Premier League debut?
Yeah, he's it was a nuisance, if I'm being honest, that night. I was delighted when he went off. He runs channels really well. He kind of chases lost causes, doesn't give the centre halves any time on the ball. Really quick, really sharp. And like you said, he was a nuisance really. He could have had a couple of goals that night. I think he hit the crossbar. He just gives defenders a tough night. And I'd imagine, when he went off, our centre halves were delighted as well. So yeah, he's a good prospect, that's for sure.
Conor, the last round of fixtures, you weren't really getting much of a run at club level, but it seems Mick has a lot of trust in you, and he mentioned the fact that he wanted to give you some extra minutes, so he played you left back against Bulgaria. How nice is it to have a manager that has the trust in you then to almost probably bring you back into club form then? Yeah,
great. It's you don't probably come across managers too often that have that full amount of trust in you. It's great, that he gave me minutes at left back. He had no problem put me in there. A lot of managers wouldn't do that. So yeah, delighted that there's a manager there with a bit of trust in me, and I'm trying to repay him with that trust with good performances. And so far, I think I've done okay, and hopefully I'll keep putting in good performances for him.
Yeah, you obviously had probably your best performance of the season there at the weekend. Just in regards, you scored against Georgia last time we played them. Scoring against them, psychologically, does that give you an edge playing Georgia?
Again?
Yeah.
Listen, I suppose when you scored against a team that you've scored against before, you always have that good feeling going into the game that you might nick another one off them. I think previously I'd scored a couple of goals against Norwich in my career, and that got mentioned before the game, and managed to nick one against them. So yeah, maybe so. Going into the game, knowing I've scored against Georgia is nice to know in the back of your head that I might be able to nick another one or whatever. But yeah, hopefully that might be the case at the weekend.
All right, thank you.
All right.